Hey, good morning. Glad to be here. As you can see, I'm highly motivated, super excited. We are live. We're going live here, 21st of August. So what's happening? I hope you're applying the necessary safety measures, i.e., boom, wearing your mask, hand sanitizer, make sure your temperature is okay before you enter rooms and you interact with people. We're doing those things. Before I get started, start talking about ROTC, I definitely want to talk about a couple things. One, safety considerations. Army safety is Army strong. So we have to maintain our safety as an individual, right, within our families, and then collectively as a community. So I just want to make sure that we're discussing those things. We're doing our best in the ROTC to apply those necessary measures here in Puerto Rico, according to the governor's guidance. Currently, we're doing our instruction online. So, hey, if you're still interested in our ROTC program, we're doing our instruction online. However, there are things that we are doing together while applying those social distancing measures, things like laboratories. We're still able to do PT. We're creative in our ability to kind of maintain social distancing, but still be able to challenge the finest generation that is up to bat right now, which is you guys. And we're super excited about getting you guys trained, getting you guys qualified, competent in the uniform, and then also ready to take on tomorrow's challenges. So here we are, super excited. Here we are. It's week one. It's week one, right? We got cadets that are in the fight already. I'm super excited. Today we had an APFT, and I kind of work ourselves up between the last video that I posted. And I see you, Fernando. That's my high speed right there, highly motivated MS3. So before I start getting to my cup of coffee here, because we have a cup of coffee with the cadre today, I want to talk about Camp Santiago. First of all, I just got to throw a shout out to the Army National Guard. Camp Santiago was so squared away. I mean, I can't say enough how I appreciate all of the efforts and work that was done to get Camp Santiago prepared for us to come down there and to take on Operation Agile Leader for advanced camp and basic camp for our cadets. I mean, first of all, it's a beautiful installation. I can't say enough. Just waking up, seeing the mountains, horses, the weather was perfect for us. Yeah, it got a little hot, but hey, it's a blessing to feel the heat and suck in those rays. It was just a great experience. I'm so glad that I get to train at Camp Santiago. I can't say that enough. Me personally, I've trained all over the United States. I've also trained overseas. And I will tell you that I enjoy going to the field and being at Camp Santiago and waking up to a beautiful morning in Salinas. So just throwing it out there. I definitely want to thank the cadre, all the people who work hard to keep Camp Santiago up to par. Everything from the civilians that work at the PX to or the coffee shop. I mean, the people who maintain the ranges. Everything was great. Everything's up to par, and I can't wait to go back out there again. I truly enjoy working at Camp Santiago, and I just want to thank all those who that supported us in getting Operation Agile Leader accomplished. I definitely want to say a couple shout outs to the major planners for that operation, which was Captain Cruz and Sergeant Myers and Sergeant First Class Garcia. Hey, those guys are outstanding. Bottom line, I am honored to work with those cadre members. Just an example, you have people from all over the Union, all over the United States coming together, work together, coordinate, and to prepare our next generation and our current generation of warfighters, heroes, and people who are resolute in making sure today's problems are resolved. I'm really grateful for working with those guys, and they did an awesome job of coordinating, planning, and executing. We worked with the Bulldog Battalion. We worked together. We intermingled. We rubbed shoulders a little bit. We shared our ideas, and we came forward with a plan to make it happen. I was a part of the first platoon. I was an OCT. Happened to be graced to be in that group. If you're in first platoon as an Operation Agile Leader, hey, you get on this chat. You hit the like and subscribe. Get on our page. Let's stay connected. We had a great time out there training in the woods, developing leadership skills, developing resiliency. Developing the capability to look at a situation and come up with solutions that are effective in improving our communication while maintaining safety measures during COVID-19. So hey, it was really a blessing, and I just want to throw a shout out there for all those leaders that helped put this together, as well as those soldiers that came out and trained. With that being said, a couple things that they did some weapon orientation. That's hey, some people never touched a weapon before. Some of these cadets have never touched a weapon before. So this is a new thing dealing with the rifle. So we had high-speed cadre like Sergeant First Class Torres. He was able to give a block of instruction on the rifle. They were able to learn about the 249 automatic rifle, or also known as the squad automatic. Also a block of instruction on the 240, just different weapon systems. It was an amazing thing, 50 cal, just giving people an understanding of some of the weapons that are used to defend our nation and provide the freedoms that you have today just to be here without having to deal with a lot of the other dynamics that some nations don't even have the freedom to express themselves or to learn or to share or to be exposed to the world. So, hey, it's just a blessing that we had Sergeant First Class Torres really help these cadets get to know how to operate these weapon systems confidently and how to carry these weapons and how to be safe. So that's something they went through, a little bit of a weapons immersion. In addition, they went through some land navigation training. Now, many of them have already been trained at this point in land navigation. It was an opportunity for them to actually test out and to demonstrate their competencies on a written exam, conducting land navigation training and reinforcing those principles of how to maneuver and how to move and how to navigate, how to get from point A to point B. A lot of people, let's just be honest, without the GPS, how are we making it? If you legitimately had to give somebody a map and say, hey, get from, point A to point B here in Puerto Rico, how many people can do that, right? So we give these cadets an opportunity. Here's a map. Here's a compass. Hey, go walk your pace count. Okay, awesome. Here's your terrain. Go out there and find these specific points, these 8-digit grids. We need you to confirm and verify these things. And we had our cadets out there. First of all, they demonstrate the knowledge and competency on the written exam, and then they actually went out there to actually execute that training, and they did a fine job. We had some people that had some challenges, right? It's okay. Just like even when using your GPS, sometimes you might go down the wrong road. It looked like it was that way, but you went that way, right? So we had some people that had some hiccups and had to do it again, Roger. But it's too easy. They still pushed through the objective, and it was an opportunity for them to see where they stand. In addition to this, qualification, they were able to actually demonstrate the confidence and competence in their ability to handle this weapon system, but also to look at something and be able to touch it. Isn't that crazy? Anywhere from 25 to 300 meters, we had cadets that were able to look at something and touch it at distance, and that's what they did with their rifles. Pretty amazing. You can get machinery and your eye together in a beautiful relationship, and then be able to use that synergy to connect and communicate with plastic. And that's what they did. So it was an awesome opportunity that we had. I'm not going to lie. I was out there in the sun, burning up, getting a little bit of heat rash, trying to help some of these cadets learn the science on how to group, how to zero, and then also be able to hit targets at 300 meters in the prone, unsupported, and also the kneeling. I will tell you, personally, if it wasn't for the Army, I wouldn't even know how to fire a rifle. I'll tell you that when I was in high school, I was blessed to be in a ROTC for a couple years before I moved, and I only imagine what would have happened if I would have moved to a school that had a ROTC. Maybe I would have went on my own self to go into the senior ROTC program, but I didn't have that opportunity. But I did my freshman and sophomore year. When I was in Omaha, Nebraska, I went to Northwest High School. I was blessed to be able to learn under Master Sergeant Owens and Major Tobin how to actually use a rifle. We used the M1, old school, but it was pretty awesome. But we were able to help these cadets using the M4 Group Zero qualify and gain confidence on how to interact with that weapon and also how to shoot in the kneeling. And if you guys know how to shoot in the kneeling, it's a little bit different than the prone supported when you have something that's holding that weapon steady. Right. So we had cadets that were able to engage targets while taking a knee, while supporting, the weapon system with their actual body, and be able to engage targets. At the end of the day, it's always important for us to be able to know how to defend ourselves and how to protect ourselves as necessary. And these cadets were able to demonstrate their competence and confidence in the weapon systems. And even those who didn't have as much confidence were able to improve on that confidence. So we went on to the patrol lane. After we finished weapons qualification, land navigation, we went to the patrol lane. And you're asking, well, what's the patrol lane? Really, the patrol lane is a scenario situation. We are allowing these young men and young women to be able to work together as a team, as a group, to go through the woods, to go up and down hills and mountains, into the woods, and at night, during the day, navigating the same skills that they use to navigate for land navigation. They're now using those same things in order to move their element, their platoon. And we gave them specific leadership positions like squad leader. Squad leader is responsible for anywhere between 8 personnel down to 6. And personal hygiene is also part of our safety. Being able to get up 4 in the morning, pack their rucksacks, and get ready for that day, breakfast in their body with the operation order, ready to move out on command. And so we were able to integration order, ready to move out on command. And so we were able to energize as the squad leader level, the platoon sergeant level, which is the backbone of that platoon, the most experienced person in that platoon. That person is there to really fix whatever problems might come about, and also to aid that platoon leader as that assistant patrol leader. So it was great to be able to see these cadets acting in these roles with their competencies, with their expertise, and communicating to multiple echelons on how we're going to maneuver, and if we run into a problem or a situation, how we're going to react to that situation, and then being able to shoot, move, and communicate and maneuver people under duress, under simulated weapons fire, under simulated attacks, simulated ambushes, things like that, and be able to make decisions. And again, this is life. And these principles that we apply, and I'll be just 100% honest with you, there's a very small percentage of people that I've served with in the military that has ever fired their weapon in a situation where they had to protect their lives. Very small percentage of those people. When I first joined the Army, I thought everybody, they had a combat patch. Like, oh, you got a combat patch. You've been in combat. Nah, Saj. Let's just be 100. There are very few people who actually fired their weapons. A lot of people claim to be the soldier, right? But it's not necessarily something that's like, woo, super exciting. To be honest with you, you serve your nation, you do what's best, you protect your friends, you protect your allies, you protect the people that are living in those areas that are being harassed and attacked by people who are trying to threaten their lifestyles or do harm, right? So it is what it is. We do our nation, we do our nation's responsibilities, and we love the people that we protect, to include our foreign national allies in Iraq and Afghanistan, right? And throughout history, Korea, throughout history, Vietnam, right? Throughout history, Germany, throughout history, the British. We can keep on going. But with that being said, there's very few people that I actually know that have fired their weapon. I am one of those people. There's a few people in this organization here in our battalion that actually have fired their weapon and have had to defend themselves and protect their nation, right? There's a very small percent of those people. But our goal is to prepare just in case that day actually does come, right? And that's what I'm here to do as your MSI. With my combat experience as an infantryman, I'm here to prepare you for that one day where you might need to protect yourself, your destiny, your future, and your family, your Army family, and your nation, right? So we're able to kind of help them improve on those basic survivor skills that I personally believe that every American citizen could benefit from. As far as even right now, my situation, power went out, we had the storm, power went out, certain things that I know how to do just to ensure that my family is prepared. I don't wait for the last minute for things. Oh, snap, things will happen. There's certain things I already have in place in order to ensure that my family can eat, that they can do things to maintain online schooling. My daughter's in school, my son's in school. So just certain things that I think about in my Army training, like being out in the field and doing these operations, assist with that. In addition to the platoon sergeant, whose job is to help medevac injured people out of the area to ensure that the personal hygiene and also the needs of water, food, fuel, all the different ammunition, all the different things that communication equipment is maintained, all the different things that are necessary for that platoon to function, security and safety, all those things are reinforced. In addition, the training that needs to be done, the rehearsals need to be done before an operation is done. And also that I have been a private in this organization, expertise for 14, 13, 12, 11 years, whatever that experience is. In addition to that position, the assistant patrol leader, the platoon sergeant, we have the patrol leader, the PL. This is what everybody in this organization is trained, is to be a PL. What does that mean? What does it mean PL? PL is overall responsible individual for every soldier, every equipment, and at the end of the day, the confidence of the mission. Every organization has a mission, right? No matter what you work, if it's Taco Bell, you got a mission. If it's Baskin Robbins, Cold Stone, I'm a Mopar guy. I like Dodge. I like Ram. I'm one of those Chrysler, SRT. I love that. So, if you work at FCA, you work at a Chrysler dealership, you got a mission, right? There's a mission for everything. And what we're doing is training these young Americans to be able to take ownership of that mission, make that mission theirs, and then be able to help and aid in the accomplishment of that mission as a supervisor for an organization of up to 40 people, right? So this is what we're training these young Americans, have the capacity not just to be a part of something, right, but to become it. And I was talking to my dad about this on the way to work this morning, and I just want to throw a quick shout out to my dad, Reuben Thomas Roundtree Jr., one of my closest friends in life. He was my best man in my wedding. And he also was the one who read the vows because he's an ordained minister. I aspire to be like him in so many ways. I'm so grateful to have a father that is also one of my closest friends. And to me, he actually set the definition of what a friend was. Not a lot of children can say that their father set the example of what a real friend is. And I was talking to a lot of people about that. I was like, the reason I found myself in a relationship with my lady, my queen, Darla, who, by the way, we celebrated 18 years together in a beautiful relationship. We happened to also get married on that day yesterday as well. So we 18 years together, 14 years married. But legitimately, what helped me know that she was the person that I wanted to build a empire with was how that relationship just reminded me of a relationship with my father. It's crazy. And at that time in my life, I never thought I could run into a woman that I could have that connection with because, my father was that. And I was just in my mind always thought of men having that like brotherhood type friendship, and when I met my lady, it was like, okay, this is different. I feel the same energy here. So I just want to throw a shout out to my father. We're talking this morning and I said, there's a difference about belonging to something, believing in something, and becoming something. And this is what we're really trying to get these lieutenants in training, these cadets, to understand that no matter what you do, even if you go through our program and you decide, hey, I want to go to the left, or hey, maybe you don't meet the standards for this program, you can still take something home with you palatable into your career. Or for those that are going to be successful, those that will be generals, colonels, those that will be successful captains and UQR and move on to their career, or majors and move on, retire, move on to other careers. They will not just belong, not be on a roster, but they will become what the essence, the ethos of what that organization is. This is what we're trying to teach, those principles, which is huge. Sometimes parents aren't able to accomplish that, right? And let's just be honest. I'm a parent. I got 3 kids. Me and my lady, we work hard, but I can't cover everything. I would love to put all my energy and effort into the development of my children. But the reality is that I got to spread that amongst a lot of things. I got to pay the bills, right? I got to plan for the future. I got to invest. I got to invest in my small business. There's a lot of things that I have to invest in my own education. My lady, she has her own goals, right? So we have to kind of spread our resources. What we do in the ROTC programs, we aid in that process where while parents are working hard at their jobs, providing, all the things for these students. Many of our students are still staying at home, right, to save money, things like that. We're able to add in some of those tools to really aid the survivability of our students. Things that are essential for them to learn these key principles. And becoming is one of them. Becoming is one of them. It's one thing to put on a shirt and say, hey, I'm in this organization, like right now, Geronimo, I'm wearing this shirt. The 501st, one of the first airborne organization institutions, test platoon in the Army, right? Very proud of the 501st. I'm here because of that. It wasn't for the 501st, wouldn't even be sitting in this chair right now. Definitely hats off to my leaders who I serve with and under, and my soldiers who put in the hard work in that organization. But hey, Sergeant Torres, he's a perfect example of that. Sergeant Torres wasn't just in the 501st, he was the 501st. Sergeant Audie Murphy, jump master, weapons squad leader, platoon sergeant. This is a guy who represented the organization. He became it. He just wasn't in it. All right. And I'm using that as an example. This is what we're here trying to promote for all these young cadets who are launching out into their careers, they're pursuing their master's degree, they're pursuing their bachelor's degrees, that whatever organization they belong to, they become it. And when you become something, you ensure the success. And success is just a byproduct of when you take ownership of something. So this is the principles that we're trying to teach. And for that PL has to become the mission. And not only does that PL have to become the mission, that PL has to be able to articulate what is necessary for other people to see the vision, to visualize the success, and then to put the actions in play to make it happen. So it's super important for the people who are training. We have this great opportunity to operate as an agile leader. It's super important for them to have that opportunity to go out there and train and then be able to take ownership and then to own the success and also own the failures. Let's just be honest. If you're not failing, you're not pursuing success. Let's just be honest. A lot of people sit back. I play sports at every school I've attended. So a lot of people sit back and say, we're not winning. Man, our team ain't got it, or our school doesn't have it. And I always ask a question like, what are you doing? Like, I'm out here at practice. In the summertime, I'm lifting weights. I'm working out. I'm going to camps. What are you doing? You come to the game, or are you even come to the game? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing to make a contribution? And those same people who sit back have the most criticisms, those that are out there in the game, putting in the blood, sweat, and effort. And so with that being said, along with putting in that work and demonstrating the commitment also comes failure. Because failure is the path of learning. Failure is the path of success. And you will fail. I guarantee you join the Army, come get some of this failure. Come get this failure. Yeah, because in the process of failure, you find your wall. You find your limitations. Boom, you hit it. And when you hit that wall, there are people, cadre. Coffee with the cadre. You're going to have cadre. They're going to be sitting right there sipping on some tea, sipping on some coffee like, yeah, you just messed that all up. But we got you. Like, hey, come over here real quick, dust yourself off, drink some water, take any face out. These are the things that we see that you did really good. AAR, right? Here's the things that after action review. For those who don't know what an AAR is, it's an after action review. It's an opportunity for us to discuss what the task was, to discuss whether or not we accomplished that task, to talk about the things that we can improve on, to talk about the things that we did well, to highlight key people who performed on a high level and demonstrated the becoming, right, of that mission. And then we take all that data and all the information, and then we launch it into the next operation, the next task. So with that being said, with that failure, you're going to have cadre members who have also failed. And I will tell you I failed. And I look forward to continuing to fail, right? Because I'm going to continue to push and challenge myself no matter what. There are people who will make fun of you. They'll laugh at you. And sometimes, you laugh at yourself. But the thing is, in this organization, we don't accept defeat. We don't quit, right? We don't leave fallen comrades, and we always place the mission first. So with that being said, we are those people that will cheer you on, encourage you, and tell you, let's go. Okay, I got it. You didn't meet your goals today, or you didn't meet the Army's goals, or their ROTC goals, right? Or the airborne goals, right? But at the end of the day, it's okay. Let's learn from it, and let's use that as fuel for the future. Failures of the past are only fuel for the future when you are in a place where you're not going to accept not living outside of your purpose. That's another story. I love talking about purpose. That's my calling. But let's go back into the subject matter of these are the tools that we're equipping these young leaders with who are in a position of PL to understand and to articulate and to live and to define. All right. So I'm going to move on from that. We ended Operation Agile Leader. It was a great 1 week. They also entail Basic Camp. Basic Camp are those cadets that are basically like your sophomores in college, right? They are in that transition to become MS3s. So they go to Basic Camp and they kind of learn about the history. They learn drill and ceremony. They learn a little bit of land nav. They get oriented or exposed to weapon systems. There's certain things that they go through, kind of understand the heritage of an organization, and then also they get assessed to PT test. They get assessed to see, hey, here's where you stand, here's where you are. This is what you need to be prepared for, because the next year you're not going to be so much as a follower, but you're going to be, boom, definitely out front leader. So it was a great opportunity for them. They had half the time frame that the MS3s who are going through advanced camp, they have half the time frame. So we got them as well as got them trained, and we sent them home, and then we continued on and reinforced and pushed our MS3s across the goal line to get the overall win in advanced camp. So that was exciting. Now we're back in garrison operations. We're back at our universities here. You see me, I'm here on this platform, but we're online. And we're testing. Last week we did the ECLT, which is based on opportunity to assess our future cadets as far as their capability to speak the English language, as far as their knowledge and competency of it. And just a test to kind of like, hey, written exam, boom, what do you know about English? Where you stand on that? And if that lets us know what we need to do to aid and assist you in moving forward in the program. Because here in Puerto Rico, it's important that our ESL students, English second language students, are capable of articulating themselves well to any soldier. So you're going to get that help here. We have people like Ms. Hesby for the UMET and the Intermetro team. We have Ms. Hesby, an amazing woman, veteran, commissioned officer herself, and is her background. She's currently a teacher. She's in this program. She's done the officer thing, right? She's honored her commitment to the United States military and push herself to the next level as a woman. By the way, if you think about it, some of these women who are joining the military, 80s, 90s, they're pioneers. They are pioneers. And I tip my hat to them for being to really setting that definition that the term soldier does not just belong to men, right? It belongs to women as well. It belongs to all Americans. So great to have Ms. Hesby on our team here at the Intermetro UMET instruction and Bravo company. And she's here to aid you. So when you take your ECLT, you'll get placed. And if you kill the game, then we know, hey, we can push you forward. You're not even going to have to do some of the English coursework because you already demonstrated your ability to understand and or to be able to articulate the English language. So that's huge. We did our testing. That's ongoing. Sergeant First Class Garcia, our ops NCO, he's on it, and he's able to conduct those testings at the UPR Rio Piedras campus, the battalion for us here on the east side of the island. All right. So in addition to that, this week we've done our syllabus orientation. Basically, that's like, hey, we did our online at Blackboard Collaborate. Our PMS has all of our programs using the SROTC, the senior ROTC platform, which is Blackboard, and that is the Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, which I've used it in my master's degree program. I was blessed to kind of get exposed to that in my master's degree program because the University of Louisville has a collaborative relationship with Cadet Command, and I was able to get into the MET course, which is a blessing. I have a research elective that I'm also participating in to aid in how we can better the relationship between the United States military, the junior ROTC program, and also young men and women who are looking for opportunities and access to be the very best. I'm not aware of a lot of the careers that are out there for them. So I'm blessed to be a part of that program. And I was able to get exposed to Blackboard Collaborate Ultra on that platform. But I've been using GoToMeeting. We've been using Zoom, like a lot of other people during this COVID-19 been using Zoom. But right now we're using Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. It was the first time for me as an instructor to facilitate that learning. By the way, big shout out to Captain Cruz. Super excited. Again, that's my airborne. That's my Geronimo bro. We call them Geronimo bros. But my Geronimo brother from the Arctic Airborne Brigade, 425 Spartans, 501st Geronimo Battalion. So I was able to work with him up there. Great opportunity. And here we are together, still making it happen. And if it wasn't for him, I couldn't even tell you. He's been a great ally as a personal friend, as well as somebody who I look up to in this organization as a commissioned officer. So he helped me out greatly with getting everything kicked off as a facilitator on Blackboard Collaborate. And I'll tell you, it's a great platform. It's very convenient. You can access it through phone. You can access it obviously through a digital format, such as a laptop or a computer. And we're able to do our facilitation, our instruction on it. It's been great. I've been on there twice now, done 2 classes, and we're able to cover things for them to be aware of. He covered the OML. I talked about, I energized the syllabus and expectations for the class environment. talked about things like sexual assault, sexual harassment, discrimination. We talked about some of those sensitive items that a lot of times people are uncomfortable discussing, but also the things that we're going to do to equip our students so they will be overall better students in their own programs, as far as their personal degrees and just as American citizens. That's important. We're here to make better Americans, and that's why it's a military service. So grateful that I had the opportunity to do this and to use these platforms. I'm glad that the PMS energized us. Colonel Rojas energized us to use Blackboard and Google Teams. I personally was like, oh man, I literally just spent money on the GoToMeeting platforms. I really love GoToMeeting. I was like, oh man, I gotta use Blackboard. But now that I'm using it, I'm like, yo, this is definitely the move, and it's working out great for us, getting people enrolled and getting them in. So just know it's not too late. Get at us if you're interested. I'm gonna post all the information for you to contact myself, Captain T. Rado, the APMS here for UMET and Inter-American Metro Campus. You're going to meet him as well. He's going to jump on here in the next couple of weeks and introduce himself as APMS. Super excited about that. We have a great team that we're building, that we have built. And also Mr. De Jesus. Currently, we have a gold bar recruiter, Lieutenant Ayuso. He's making it happen. Big shout out to Lieutenant Ayuso, who used to be a cadet in our program, and now he's a gold bar. He's making it happen. Super glad that he's helped us out thus far. He's got at least 3 of our MS3s into our program, and I just think that it's good to have that energy, that motivation, that knowledge, somebody who's fresh out of the ROTC program, able to kind of give back before they move on with their next, what I call their airborne mission. So a big shout out to Lieutenant Ayuso, Infantry. Super excited. Also today I was able to work with Lieutenant Lopez. We were able to grade the APFT for our MS3s, MS4s, and those people were trying to contract. Again, there's $5,000 out there. There's scholarships out there available for you. If you're able to come in and meet the English standards, the physical fitness standards, okay, why don't you come here and get some of this money and aid yourself while you're going through school, and also get a stipend every month? Why not do that? The door is open for you. Find out how you can do it. Find out if you qualify. But I want to thank Lieutenant Lopez, who is another highly motivated lieutenant, fresh out of our program. He was the battalion commander for cadet commander last year. I'm honored whenever I see people who put a 100% into the program. It just motivates me. Those are the people that I'm glad that I'm able to serve with. Those are the people that I would trust if my children decide to be like their father and serve in the United States Army. I'm like, yo, I know that Lieutenant Lopez is going to take care of them, and he's gonna do the right thing. So it's just been an honor to see these cadets transition from being students and to being leaders. And there are many of these cadets that I am honored to salute. You know what I mean? Like there are some you're like, okay, I'm praying for you that because it's a journey. We're all still learning. I definitely fresh out of college, I had a lot to learn, right? So you still lieutenants are like, I'm praying for you. You're gonna get it. It's gonna take some time, but you're gonna get it. Then you have those ones that you're just like, wow. I'm just glad that I was here to see the process, right? He's one of those lieutenants as well. So big shout out to Lieutenant Ayuso and Lieutenant Lopez and the work that you guys are doing in our program to make it more effective and more efficient and more relative to the generation that you're a part of. So you guys I personally believe that we're looking at the greatest generation, because every generation is the greatest generation. A lot with just the ones who went through World War II. Think about what's happening right now in our world, right? Just in this last year, I'd never experienced anything like this in my entire life. 9/11 was a big deal. I was in college. I remember it like yesterday. I believe it was a Tuesday when I saw those planes impact on the video. Then the other plane hit. Hey, wow, right? That changed history. My destiny was impacted by that. I've been in the surge to Iraq, been to the surge to Afghanistan, and I've also helped close down Afghanistan. So with that being said, that was a big day. And right now we're living in an era where we don't know what the future holds for this world right now, right? So these people are standing up in the midst of a pandemic. They are willing to stand up and to stand ready to defend our nation. It's a very honorable thing. And just a huge shout out to this generation, which I believe is the new greatest generation. We're looking at economic depression right now. We're literally in that time frame where the government has had to push out resources in order to sustain people, right? So this is huge what these Americans are doing here in Puerto Rico. Very proud to serve with these cadets, which is you, right? It can be you. All you gotta do is come. All you gotta do is hit us up, hit me up on WhatsApp, and we'll start the process. With that being said, moving on. Another thing that we did, in addition to the APFT we accomplished today, for those people who are contracting, who are MS3s and 4s, we're also turning uniforms. Those people, those MS4s that have met certain standards and are good to move on, they're turning uniforms, and then we're also issuing out more uniforms to our new MS3. So we're in the process of doing that. In addition, I just want to throw a shout out again to my APMS, Captain Tirado. He will be engaging and challenging our MS4s and also our MS2s. That's his block of instruction. And then I'm tag teaming with Captain Cruz. We are taking ownership of the MS3s, both in the Metro program and the Bayou Moon program. We're working together to help one another out and to ensure that the cadets are getting the best opportunity to be the very best. So super excited about that. Coming up next on Friday, we're going to be doing a lab. One is going to be an orientation. Our PMS is going to do an orientation for the entire program about the labs, the expectations, the standards. Also an opportunity for the cadets to interact with our PMS, and also Major Estrada, who is our XO. And then we're going to break right into our rotations of drilling ceremony as well as individual movement techniques. So at the end of the day, a lot of people have no clue the history of drilling ceremony, why it's important. You know, when you think of drilling ceremony, a lot of times you think about the old guard. And I was blessed. I think I talked about this in one of my videos. I was able to get accepted to the old guard, but it wasn't my destiny. I was super excited though. But to be a part of the 3rd Infantry Regiment is a big deal. In the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, you see those soldiers standing in those positions through the most extreme heat temperatures, right? Through the rain, through the cold, even with the virus going on. There is and will always be an infantryman standing right there to guard that tomb. So that's just a lot of times you think about, you think through drilling ceremony. A lot of people don't understand that drilling ceremony's origins was really a process for maneuvering troops from one place to another to minimize injuries and also to get them there in the most efficient way, and then also in a way where they're able to protect themselves. Like we talk about things like the Revolutionary War, we talk about things like the Civil War, things like that. Drilling ceremony, the movements, all those different things were actually practiced in combat in order to create the environment of freedom, which is what we are in the practice of doing. Don't get it twisted. We're not done. We are still trying to make our nation better and make our nation even more free for those who are here, and also for those that choose to become Americans, that they will have full and free access to become and be the best they can be. So we're still in that process, but drilling ceremony is a vehicle, so to speak, that has been used in order to establish that discipline. I'm a big fan of it. I'm a drill sergeant. You know, I was grateful to go through that process, by the way. Very hard assignment. I'm glad that is over, by the way. But drilling ceremony is that environment we expect that discipline, keeping your head held high, your eyes forward, a nice clean position of attention, a nice clean salute, a nice clean movement with your rifle. We're teaching that discipline, that pride, and how you carry yourself, you know, with your shoulders back. You know, it's important for you to have that posture. A lot of times we don't think about how posture plays a role with our performance. But anybody that is an athlete, anybody that is a performer understands that posture is essential for success. Again, posture is essential for success, for survival, for the fulfillment of purpose. So drilling ceremony really helps us to instill those characteristics. You have a lot of people who walk with poor posture. It also reflects their confidence in themselves, and you know how they carry themselves. You know how you sit down. You know, and the thing is you start with bad posture, you're going to your grave a lot faster. Bottom line, posture impacts circulation. So I think it's important that we understand that drilling ceremony is more than just right face, left face, about face, forward march. You know, it's more than that. it's more than that, and that's what drill ceremony is going to be conducted for Lab 2. Sergeant First Class Garcia, who is a drill sergeant, he's going to make that happen. Super glad to have him in our program as our ops NCO. He's making it happen and takes pride in that, as well as Sergeant First Class Myers, who's one of our most senior NCOs here in our program. He's another person I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to listen and learn from and learn with as a brother. So those two individuals will be taking full ownership of the drone ceremony, and then we're going to have Captain Cruz and Captain McGee. They are going to be the cadre OICs for the IMT, which is individual movement techniques. Now, as I talk about these things and I talk about these cadre, we're going to be the ones to ensure the quality of training, to make sure that the mission is accomplished, set forth by the Cadet Command and ROTC program, and the point of instruction that we have. But with that being said, these cadets will actually be the ones who will be doing it. Cadets will be the ones who will be demonstrating it. Cadets will be the ones who will be teaching it. Cadets will be the ones who will be ensuring that it's done to standard. We as cadre are there to be present, because leadership is not just about telling people what to do. Leadership is also about being present with, and at the point, especially as a platoon sergeant, I learned this in the airborne community. I got to give a big shout out to, there's so many NCOs that I can think right now would probably take about 15, 20 minutes. But big shout out to Delaware Company, first of all, as well as Comanche Company, first of all, first. I could tell you, I could talk about First Sergeant Delau, Sergeant First Class Woodsky. I could talk to you about Sergeant First Class Cawthon. I could talk to you about Sergeant First Class Guzman, who then became First Sergeant Guzman, Sergeant First Class Wolf, Sergeant First Class Wazerski, Sergeant First Class Bermudez, Sergeant First Class Torres, who was my weapons squad leader, who then became platoon sergeant. And I was learning from him when he was in my platoon. There's so many people I could talk about. Sergeant Major Rezegi, who I'm just so thankful that I have the opportunity to learn from that first year in the organization, and all the different briefs that we went to, and I would just see them pitch specific things. They always talk about how our jobs will be at the friction point, the friction point. How can we get to the friction point? What's the friction point of the operation? And the friction point of operation is where leaders need to be at, because we have the most experience to be able to provide the solutions that our soldiers need in order for the mission to be successful. So I learned that in the airborne community. And don't get me wrong, I'm a 101st guy too. I'm a 101st guy, and I'm gonna be 101st till I die, no doubt. Screaming Eagle, strike, But as a senior NCO and as light infantryman, I learned a lot in the airborne community that I didn't necessarily get all those tools, and especially those guys. A lot of those guys were RIs. A lot of those guys were huge Ranger guys, and they taught me a lot of lessons. I was also extremely blessed to be able to have Sergeant Major Hassan, who was a great mentor. I was rough around the edges as a platoon sergeant, because I grew up in under a little bit of the old school regime. And by the way, I needed that, because I was like the time frame we needed to have leaders who weren't afraid to yell at you and tell you what you need to do, and that you're messed up. You need to get it fixed right now, and go find your soldiers and go fix your soldiers. That was a great time frame. But Sergeant Major Hassan helped me kind of round my edges and kind of take things to a higher level of professionalism and leadership. But that friction point is critical. And that's something that we do. Our cadre in our program, we go to the friction point and we fix those problems, but we allow our cadets to take ownership of the program. And that's what every year we're trying to do a better job of giving the program to the cadets, right? A lot of times leaders feel like we have to be seen, we got to be up front, see me, look at me all the time, right? But really giving the program to the cadets and letting them run with it. So yes, on the front end, we demonstrate. Demonstrators post, right, on the front end. But as the standard is set, then we hand over. We do the handover to the next generation, because at some point I'm not going to be here. It's going to be another leader in front of you who's going to be taking on the torch and crossing the finish line, right? So I'm super glad that type of leadership, I learned that in the airborne community. By the way, the Army set me up for success to have that challenge of being a paratrooper, and then being able to learn small things that paratroopers have to do in order to survive, that when you're in other units, you have helicopters, you've got tanks, you've got vehicles that can support you, and you can do a lot of things more independent, or you get more support. But when you're in an airborne organization where you're going to be by yourself for, anywhere to 72 or whatever hours without that support, then it boils down to really great leadership. And I was so honored to have that, and to be a part of that. So again, I just want to hone those key characteristics about leaders being at the friction point. We demonstrate that, we teach that, but we also allow the cadets to be the ones to push it through. So every year we're getting better as cadre of giving our future lieutenants that opportunity to take ownership of the program. And we're in that process now, and our labs is going to be a demonstration of that. So I was able to be a part of the planning with that, with my APMS, to be a part of the planning. And then I've now passed the baton to our cadets here at Metro, currently Cadet Barrios, Cadet Figueroa, and Cadet Fernando Rivera. They are energizing the plan. They're refining it, they're tweaking it, and then they're also getting with the battalion cadet leadership to make sure that product is good to go. And then on next Friday will be execution. Super excited about it. I'm not going to continue on with much more, because I've pretty much covered everything that's taken place since the last time I've been able to go live here, and then also to where we are today. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware how you guys can contact us. So I'm going to post this information, but just so you can hear it audibly, you can take this down. Mr. De Jesus is our recruiting officer. His number is 787-764-0000, extension 85222. You can contact him through email at Pedro De Jesus. So it's going to be pedro.dejesus, pedro.dejesus.civ@mail, mail.mil. All right. So you can contact him, and I'm going to post that in the link, his phone number. Also, another phone number you can contact in order to contact us here at Metro is 787-250-1912, and that's an extension 20. Now, you can email, and really, this is a great way to connect with me directly, is my email, and that's ruben.t.roundtree.mil@mail.mil. And Ruben is spelled in the Jewish way, REUBEN.T.Roundtree, ROUNDTREE.mil@mail.mil. So I'll post that information so you have access to it. And if you're interested in the program, please hit me up. Also, this is on Facebook page. You can shoot us an inbox on our Facebook page, and then I will also reply to you, and I'll give you my number so we can get to the WhatsApp. And we do a lot of our interaction on WhatsApp because this is really an effective process. In addition to this, we're also located not just at UMET. We're not just located at Intermetro. We have other programs, Kaye, Fajardo, Bayamón, Durabo, or UAGM. So there's most likely there's an ROTC program, especially you're here in the Metro on the east side. There's an ROTC program. You can find us, and there's somebody who knows, and we can get you in boots. For full-time students, you're looking at who are pursuing a bachelor's degree. You just need to have 12 credits or more per semester. If you are a master's degree student, you need to have just 6 credit hours per semester, and you qualify. When you need to have a 70 or more on your ALCPT test as far as English. You need an ECL score of 75, and to get contracted. And also to get contracted, you need to have a 2.1 plus on the OPI, and that's the oral proficiency interview, which is like a 2-way conversation. So like me, if you're like me, I go to the gas station, I meet great people, and I do my best to speak Spanish. But there's times where people say things to me, I'm like, then I start saying, hey, listen, my Spanish is not very good, right? So the OPI will actually be able to test your ability to, one, articulate yourself, two, to answer a question, to respond intelligently. So we provide you those skills, but we also need to see where you are before we start tossing out opportunities, stipends, and scholarships, things like that. You do need to come and get tested, come get assessed, and get ready. And then also to get contracted, you obviously need to pass your PT test. So that's huge. You have to go through a medical examination review board. That's just something for us to ensure that you are physically capable of doing these tasks. I'm not gonna lie to you, like the Army's not for everybody, right? The Army is no question the best of the best. Every force supports the United States Army. So don't get it twisted. We are the ones that were here first. We were here before the Marine Corps. Don't get it twisted. And anybody who wants to debate and discuss the Marines versus the Army, I would love to do that because first of all, we're a team, right? Just like me and my sister were a team. But the bottom line is that she was born 6 years before I was. No matter how awesome I am, she was here 6 years before me. She got a little more experience about life, and she's been in the fight a lot longer, and that's what the United States Army has been. So with that being said, the Army's not for everybody. If you're not good at PT, if you're afraid of bugs, if you're afraid of challenging yourself physically and mentally, then maybe you should look at other branches of service. We're looking for people who are not afraid to get their hands dirty and to fix the problems where the fire is at. We go where the fire is. Other people fly above the fire, but we're the ones that are in the fire, and we're the ones that put that fire out. So just so you know, we're problem solvers, and that's what we're looking for. If you want to, once you get contracted, you got to just maintain a 2.5 GPA as far as the academics and scholarship side of the table. For your stipends, you're looking at an allowance of $420 a month, and you're looking at that's for like 4 years for a 4-year scholarship. So a couple of things that are important, we do consider is like, are you dealing with child support? Are you married? Jewelry, certain things. We have certain rules to prepare you for meeting the purpose of the Army. So if you want to be bling bling and all that kind of stuff, I ain't got no problem with it, but just not in a uniform, right? Because we don't do anything that takes away from the purpose of our organization. So that's why we have standards for how we conduct ourselves, how we dress, because it's got to be in alignment with our purpose, right? Tattoos, things like that. There are some considerations. There are some waivers that we can give for you, but there are some things that you need to be aware of and make sure that we're able to honor you as leader. Because you're not just going to be in the Army, you're going to be an officer. You're going to be the people that people look at and say, that's the example, right? Conversations about your social life, right? Because, hey, if you're around people who are not honoring themselves, it's a strong probability that you might have some challenges being able to honor yourself. So we have those real discussions because we want you to be your very best, and we're going to challenge you to grow on a personal level. Discussions like drugs and alcohol, self-control and vices, those are important for you to be able to be aware of yourself and also not to participate in things that are not going to aid your performance. So for an active duty, for those who want to become active duty officers, you're looking at an 8-year commitment, and out of that 8 years, you're looking at least 3 of those years being active and those 5 being reserves. And I'm always going to recommend everybody to do that. If you can perform on a high level, I strongly suggest that you do active duty. Strongly suggest. One of the greatest things I did was go active. I started out as a reservist, so I was going to get my master's degree, and then I recognized, man, I should want active duty. So I would encourage you, look at active duty as an option. It gives you a great opportunity to explore life outside of the island and to be exposed to different cultures, different people, greater knowledge, and will aid you in deciding what you really want to do for the rest of your life. A lot of times we think we know what we want to do, but really just fall in a pattern. We fall in a pattern from our parents, we fall in a pattern from our community, we fall in a pattern from our friend, we fall in a pattern from our religion, we fall in a pattern from our school, whatever else, our uncle, auntie, friends. They don't know what you need to know for yourself to make decisions for yourself. You have to discover that on your own. And sometimes that means you need to get away and go to a quiet place. And that new city, that new state, that new duty station will allow you to really discover who you are. That's what I'm an instrument. So I love being out in nature, staring at the stars at night. And that gives me an opportunity to kind of connect with the creator and also make decisions about what I need to do for my life and for my future and think about how I can set my family up for success, for their greater success, right? So I strongly encourage you to do your very best and come and get this active duty active duty commitment and this active duty commission. So things like salary, we discuss those things with you, the medical benefits, things that you don't have to come out of pocket for to deal with. For example, I've had 3 kids and I've not paid for one of them as far as economic coming out of my monthly pay, right? I serve, and that is definitely something that I do serve. So with that being said, that's how I pay for it with my service, right? In all actuality, my nation, taxpayers, right, have honored that and been able to provide for that. But there's certain things that you're not coming out of pocket to spend, and we discuss those things with you. obviously traveling around the globe, and also education access. Like, for example, I have one child in private school and I got one child in public school. How much money do you think I'm paying for my child here on the island to go to a school that's bilingual, right? Yeah, I'm coming out of pocket, thousands of dollars. It's not cheap. So there is a benefit for my son. He's going on post. I ain't paying nothing other than my service, right? And he's got great teachers. So wherever you go in the military, you're going to have outstanding teachers that'll be able to take care of your children. And the only reason my daughter is in that situation is she's 9 days young, post the September 1 deadline. So I didn't want it to be behind. So I'm putting her in private school so she can stay on par with her age category. But you have those opportunities. Also, jobs for your spouse, right? Your spouse can work for the Department of Defense, can be a contractor. So while you're serving, they can also be building their career. Now, also there's education benefits and access for your spouse and for your children on every installation, because there's universities and education centers on every active duty installation. So it's a lot of things that we're, want you to be aware of when you're looking at navigating that decision. All right, I'm just going to throw this out there because if anybody tells you that money doesn't matter, I don't know where they're living at. So money does matter. It does open the door for greater access and greater opportunities, and not just for you, because I want to do that. I can live. I'm a light infantry guy. I'm a paratrooper, so I can live with little and be very happy and content with myself. However, as far as you want to go, those people that are able to pass generational wealth down to their children and their children's children. I know soldiers that when their grandparents and their parents, they inherit land, they inherit property, they inherit hundreds of thousands of dollars. I would love to be in that situation. I would like to create that for my children. So a way that you can do that, let's see, major pay. This is what a major makes in 2020 with over 8 years. This is only 8 years of service. And by the way, there's ways that this can happen for you. With 8 years of service, a major is making $6,983 a month. Okay, that's what a major makes. Now, let's be more realistic. You do 20 years. And you're on a high level, like our PMS on a high level. If you're a lieutenant colonel with 20 years, by the way, he doesn't have that. He's not that old. But you'll say you do 20 years and you retire lieutenant colonel, like my uncle did. Who's not my biological uncle, but he's a family member who I grew up with him, so I consider him my uncle. He retired making $9,000, $530 a month when he was lieutenant colonel active duty. $9,000. That's 20 years of service. Now, what if you become